Hello, everyone. Dakota here,
And I'm Zach.
and we are doing episode 2 of the Flick Talk podcast. And today we're going to be talking about the Predator franchise and Alien franchise, and we're going to do a tier list rankings. We saw Badlands both last week, I think around the same time.
Yep.
And we're fans of both of these franchises, especially when it comes to Alien. I love those films. Certain ones you'll find out soon enough. But yes, sorry for the dungeon ass lighting. It looks like I've crossed over into the afterlife. My camera quality is still crap at the moment, but time will tell how long this camera actually lasts, how long I'll actually use it till I can find something better. So,
yeah.
But anyways, so I guess we can go ahead and get into the tier list if you want to, and kind of start it off. And
I'll share my screen.
We have everything wrote down here on our thoughts on it for the most part. Each one, we'll probably gloss over a few and mainly stick to the meat and potatoes of Badlands because it's so fresh on our minds. I feel like there is one on this tier list though that I did watch for the first time ever last week, and I'll share my thoughts on that because I still remember it pretty vividly.
Yeah.
And we didn't do anything fancy for like the names or anything. We just stuck to the simple S through D tier ranking.
Mm-hmm. Not confusing red to green.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to start off with as Zach has lined it up. It's not by year. We're doing the Alien movies first, and then going into AVP, and then the Predator films. That way, we can kind of either way. We're going to end with Badlands and give our full thoughts on that. But we just kind of wanted to have our full thoughts starting with Alien because it's before any of the other movies, 1979. And I will say, starting off, I recently saw this actually last year in the theater, and it was a really cool experience. It was, I don't even know if it was really an anniversary. I think it was just, it might have been. I'm terrible with math here. I'm trying
last year. It would have been the
40th,
45th.
45th, yeah. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, they were showing it here at the theater, and I was like, "That's really cool." It's always cool to go and see older movies like that if you get a chance to in theaters. I did it for Halloween back in like 2013, and it was really awesome. So, but what are your thoughts on 1979 Ridley Scott's Alien?
I mean, won't bear the lead here. It's an S tier film from this grouping of franchises. One of the few. You'll see what else I consider to be S tier. But obviously Ridley Scott here, perfect, coming into perfect form. the slow burn, the tension, the actual horror elements, the claustrophobic atmosphere, the creature design they did. I mean, like, really holds like you watch it today and you're like glad it's not CGI because it's so good and so perfect. And I kind of wish that studios and stuff would go back to using like real artistry and doing these things because it just looks so much more real and terrifying than say a CGI thing which sticks out like a sore thumb because they don't take the time to actually process and render the image to make it not look like a inserted image. But anyways, I'm rambling at this point. It's not an action film. That's what I love about it. It's more haunted house in space, and obviously everyone that's in the movie does a fantastic job. Sigourney Weaver, obviously, I think kind of made her name off of this franchise, this movie. And the Xenomorph is my favorite rendition of the Xenomorph, and nothing has come close to it except for maybe the one game that was survival horror. So
Yeah, I was Alien Isolation, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
I mean, I agree with you. It's just kind of, bouncing off of what you said, to keep it short and simple. This is one of my favorite movies ever made. I love this film, and I know it can be kind of a turn off to some people because it is a slow burn. It's the best way to describe it to me is it's Jaws in space which has been said before, but that's the best way to describe it. The casting is great. I mean, you got Tom Skerritt and Sigourney Weaver. You got Veronica Cartwright, Henry Dean Stanton's in this, John Hurt, Ian Holm. I mean, and I don't even really know if they had much of a discography or biography before this film. I know Sigourney Weaver did, and she was just kind of like, this was her big movie. And then she ended up being like Ghostbusters and a crap ton of other stuff. But, it's just a great movie. It's eerie. The soundtrack is great. The effects by H.R. Geiger won him an Oscar, and the rest of the crew that worked on the movie. It's jumpy. It really is. It's got some. It's not the point where it's like the cheap jump scares. It's one of those where it just builds tension consistently while you're watching it. And when you get to the final act, it really is, woman versus creature, and it plays it up great too. The ending is very well made, and it just kind of has a great cliff hanger ending to me. Like, it just kind of, you're like, well, what do we do next? And they finally pick it up in the next one. But overall, it's a perfect movie to me. I really have no complaints, and it was really cool to see in theaters too. It was a lot of the kills are off screen. There's not a lot of goriness to these movies besides the chest burster scene. But other than that, I mean, it's one of Ridley Scott's best films. It's kind of one of his magnum opuses, I will say. He's had some duds. I really like him as a director. I mean, with this, and I feel like Blade Runner and Gladiator, that's like his three big ones that are just S tier to me. But it's a great sci-fi movie. It's one of the best horror films, and it's S tier for me. So,
yeah, nice and easy.
yeah. This next one probably is too, personally. Aliens 1986. James Cameron in the helm for this one. Sigourney Weaver returns as well. You also have not Sean Bean, but the other dude named Bean. I cannot think of his first name. He's the dude that was in the Terminator, and I cannot think of his freaking name. But the dude's a really good actor. He's in it. He plays one of the kind of the lead guy in this movie. And then you have Newt, which is the little girl in it. And this is more action heavy. I mean, this is just balls out 80s action. There really is no horror elements in this movie. It's all just testosterone and just absolute badass scenes with like the Queen alien, and that the set pieces are a lot bigger. The score is a lot bigger. Way more characters. I mean, it's like a whole slew of like these, military ops, special ops that end up taking on a multitude of aliens, and the ending is great. And once again, it's practical effects. I think the same actor that played the xenomorph in the first movie reprises his role in this one. Could be wrong with that, but I think it's the same person. But I really have no complaints with this movie either. It's one of my favorite like 80s action movies, and James Cameron really knocked it out of the park. I mean, to do something like Terminator in 1984 and then turn around and do another huge action movie like this. I mean, that dude was rolling in the money, like he was making bank at the box office, and two fantastic sci-fi movies with the Terminator and this movie as well. But it's a great sequel. It's one of those that rarely ever you have a sequel that tops the first one. For me personally, I like the first one better just by a hair, because I prefer the claustrophobicness and the creepy horror elements of the first one. But I think 2 is just, it's back and forth for me. And the Terminator movies are kind of like that for me. Judgment Day personally is my favorite. I mean, I love that movie, but I also love the Terminator. The original Terminator is fantastic. So it's kind of like sometimes I'll have a day where it's like, I want to watch the first one, and it's like, no, I want to watch the second one. So it's always back and forth. But this was way before James Cameron kind of got greedy with the blue people, in Pandora, and was actually making very well-made movies. So it's a S tier for me, personally.
Yeah, there's a kind of interesting. I think the Terminator franchise kind of mirrors the Alien. Like the first film's kind of like the Stalker, Halloween, Michael Myers esque, a little bit more horror, and then the second one kind of goes more all out action. Yeah, this is high octane action, like quintessential '80s. Um, the whole cast of the Colonial Marines, they're all unique and fun. It's just way bigger, it's way louder. You get the iconic, the Queen, and then the power loader that has stuck around in that franchise for a long time. I know a lot of people do say like, yeah, this is a perfect sequel, rivals the original. For me, I kind of wanted to like really set them apart because I just so much prefer the original, and it always kind of bugs me that the Alien franchise is more chased. It seems like more chased the Aliens type of vibe than the Alien vibe, and I think it's just so much better when it's the lone threat in the shadows than like the massive horde. And so I was gonna say it's at the top of my A tier. I've got no problem putting it in the S tier. It is an excellent film, and it's only because I want to like really delineate between my preference. So, but I'm fine with putting it in S tier. If you feel strongly that it belongs there, then we can definitely put it there.
I mean, high A is fine with me, really. I mean, just to
Okay.
kind of branch things out.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, you got
yeah.
plenty of movies to pick from, so you can tell me it's S tier because there's lots of stuff on here that aren't.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I have, this isn't water, folks. This is some vodka. So
Uh,
I'm already prepping for this. But this also, I wanted to point out, which is not a shocker. This movie also had a great cast as well. It was Michael Biehn is who I was thinking of,
mm,
and Paul Reisner and Lance Hendrickson, Bill Paxton. Game over, man. Game
yeah.
over. This movie's also filled with tons of good 80s quotes that I
Mm-hmm.
don't really remember too many because I hadn't seen it in so long. But it's one of those that if you're a fan of just really over the top 80s action movies, it's a great one. And now we're moving on to Alien 3, which was originally directed by David Fincher, who is one of my favorite directors. Um, but he really didn't have much say in this movie. And
Mm-hmm.
there is a director's cut, which I think is like, I want to say it's like 40 minutes longer. This is a film that this one and the fourth one I watched on a weekend, and it was actually last year that I watched both of them. I was late to the party. I remember texting Zabby like, "I'm actually watching Alien 3 and 4 now,"
It's
and
been years.
yeah, I know that's probably a good thing after seeing these, but three it does the cardinal sin of killing off two great characters at the first of it, and that's Michael Bean's character and Newt in the second film. They're cryogenically frozen, and Sigourney Weaver wakes up on this planet full of assholes and perverts and killers and all like jail sentence characters in this movie. Which was the biggest drawback for me with this film is you can't relate to anyone. Everybody's a piece of shit in this
Mm-hmm.
film. One guy, and I cannot think of his name in this movie, the one that Sigourney Weaver ends up kind of having I guess, a fling with till he gets unfortunately killed off.
Yeah,
Um,
he's the only redeeming one.
yeah, he was the only one I was like, because the dude's a good actor. He's a great guy, great actor in general, playing villains. Like he was, I think it was Tyrion Lannister's dad in
Oh,
Game of
really?
Thrones. Yeah,
Tyrell.
Peter Dinklage is. Yeah,
Uh,
he's dude's a uh, great character actor, but he was a good character in this for about 40 minutes, and then he gets killed off, and
I
then
didn't
you're
realize he
kind
was in
of,
it.
yeah, he's in it for a very short period of time, and then after that, you're just kind of stuck with these other people that you really don't want to fucking be stuck with. And I made the painful mistake of watching the director's cut, which is about 45 minutes longer, just because I
Not much better.
trusted the internet. I was like, hey, this one might be better because people are saying it's better, and they were like, there's more character development with it, and yeah, it Charles Dance. Uh,
Oh yeah,
that's the character I'm thinking of, the actor I'm thinking of, and then Charles
yeah.
S. Dutton, who plays Dylan, he wasn't bad. He ends up kind of being I guess the one guy that takes over his role as being the only decent person on this godforsaken planet of weirdos and just creepers. But the movie's terrible. It's jumbled up so many ways, and there's moments where I was like, there's some really cool elements in it where there's some really good kills. There's one where like there's a xenomorph and like the fan duck, and
Mhm.
like this dude's smoking, and it's really dark, and then he sees like you can see like the silhouette of it, and it jumps out and kills him. He goes flying through the fan. You got the classic like blood splatter on the wall and
Yeah.
all that. It definitely tries to keep the horror elements of the first one, but it's just the movie looks like somebody smeared like sour cream or guacamole on the camera lens, and it's a terrible movie to look at. Like it looks like
Yeah.
you've had a couple of beers and it's just like I gotta take a piss, man.
Is that
That's
like
literally the
weird
look of
green
it.
tint
Dude,
all
it's
over?
strange. It's
Yeah.
it's really strange, but the planet itself is kind of neat, but you don't really get to experience it much because you're stuck in this
The
like
prison thing.
yeah, in
Yeah.
this prison cell and this planet, random planet. But it's a maximum security prison is what it is.
Mm.
But the movie's just not good. Sigourney Weaver's like giving her all in it, and everybody else is trying to do their best. But you could tell there was so many problems behind the scenes, and just with David Fincher. And I don't really ever know. We won't ever get his full like, I guess, look at the movie that he was trying to make. I don't think because the writers and all that it was such a mess. He said he really didn't have much of a hand in it, and then you hear a lot of things on the internet where like they were saying he was kind of a dick on set and stuff like that. So, he went off to better himself. His next movie was Seven, so I don't think he
Yeah.
was he was hurting too bad. But yeah,
Also has a
it's
weird coloration.
what is it?
That also has a weird coloration, but it
it
works.
it does, yeah.
Yeah.
But for a gritty crime
Yeah.
drama, it does fit it. Um, but yeah, I put it personally. I put it in D tier just because
Yeah.
I don't like this movie at all.
Yeah.
It bored the hell out of me. Nothing really happens when the xenomorph comes on screen. It's practical, which I respect. It's not crappy early '90s CGI. It's practical,
Mm-hmm.
but you can't relate to any of the characters but Sigourney Weaver. And it would have been cool if we had more conflict with having Michael Bean's character and Newt in the movie and kind of seeing how they're pass cross with this maximum security prison and the other guys in there. But it's just at the end of the day, it's just nothing really to rewatch. I'll never watch it again. I felt miserable watching it. I think the director's cut's like 2 hours and 30 minutes, and I'm just like, dude, like just go back and watch the second one. It's like 2 hours, I think 17. So
Yeah.
it's a rushed mess in my eyes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you really nailed everything I was going to say. Troubled production. It's definitely a divisive film. I generally like David Fincher's work. I like the nihilistic, bleak vision he brings to a lot of his movies. Um, it's dark. It's very like you said. You can't really cheer for much people. It's very despair filled. I do like that they go back to a single alien horror type film, although it's like this weird like baby alien, and I kind of just wish it was just a more brutal alien to match the
Yeah,
brutality of like the characters on screen. I thought that would have maybe potentially worked better, but yeah, it's a very downbeat, depressing movie, and then the controversial plot choices, especially the opening scene, as you already mentioned, alienates a lot of people. So I had it in the middle of my C tier, but I can understand putting it in the D tier. So if you want to argue for its inclusion in the D tier, I'm happy to put it there.
yeah. I can't really put it in C, man. It's just it. The thing is, and I know this is controversy because we're about to go to Alien Resurrection, which a lot of people say is the worst one. At least Resurrection is stupid, and it knows that it is, and it's entertaining. Because three is, I'd rather be like, okay, this is some dumb shit, and actually laugh at it than be like, man, I'm just sitting here like depressed because this movie isn't any better, and it's just like a snail's pace and nothing's going on, and it's like that's what made the first two so good is you liked those characters. And then three's like, nope, it's like you get Sigourney Weaver and you know the other
Even her
guy.
character is kind of
Yeah, yeah, she's kind of watered down compared to what she was in the first two movies. Like, because she had this just boss bitch attitude in the first two. Well, not the first one. She was a little bit more vulnerable, but by the end of it, you know, segueing into the second movie, it's like, damn, she could kick ass. And then this
yeah.
third one's like, nope, let's throw it out the window. It's like all these weird, like, you know, freaking predators on the. We're not at Predator yet, but they're definitely
Yeah.
in three. So, Alien Resurrection. This one came out in '97. This is the one with Winona Ryder and Zach's favorite actor, Ron Perlman, which is.
We'll have to do something for that.
Yeah. I'm over here drinking this scotch and cheap vodka, the combo. But this one was directed by a French director, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see.
All I know is it was written by Joss Whedon.
Yeah, who's very hit or miss as well.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to try to pronounce this guy's name. It's Jean-Pierre Jeunet. Jean-Pierre Bennett. Which is, he's got a weird filmography. He's from France, obviously, but yeah, this one also had Michael Wincott, which was really weird. The villain from The Crow, which I don't know if you've seen that movie or not. I can't remember. No. But he was also the dude that was in Nope, the dude that was the photographer, like the conspiracy theorist guy that they hire in that movie. But dude's a great actor. Unfortunately, he's in this film. But and I think, if I'm not mistaken, let's see. Yeah, Brad Dourif is also in this movie, which he's one of these scientist dudes that's like obsessed with the xenomorphs and all that. He is also the voice of Chucky and, you know, Exorcist 3, which is one of his best films he's ever been in. But anyways, this one is really stupid, to put it lightly. If I'm not mistaken, they end up basically turning Sigourney Weaver's character in like this overpowered form of a human self mixed with the xenomorph.
Yeah, they like blend their DNA or something.
Yeah, it's really, really dumb. She's like Allen Iverson at basketball against these like other people that are in this movie. And this is the one that's, you know, Winona Ryder, who can put a good performance in every once in a while, is absolutely atrocious in this movie. You know, it's like trying to get emotion from a, you know, wet piece of cardboard. Like it's Plank from Ed, Edd and Eddy at this point. But she's really, really bad in this movie. Ron Perlman is Ron Perlman. The dude shows up on set, just doesn't give a shit. Like, he was great as Hellboy, but anything else I've seen him in, I'm just like, he's just there for a paycheck. The action is really stupid. They have an underwater scene where they're shooting pistols underwater and it's hitting the xenomorphs, which is totally accurate. Then they have a scene where they're climbing up the ladder, and this other dude, I can't think of his name, he's the one with the dreads. He's like, no, you know, you guys go ahead, I'm going to kill it. And it does that stupid macho bullshit where he's like, oh, and he's shooting the pistol, and it like ends up getting him anyways.
Yeah.
Just some really dumb bullshit like that. And of course, the baby xenomorph, which is wonderful, where it, you know, screams bloody murder and turns into like just a bunch of bones and gets sucked out the window. I can't remember if this one had really bad CGI or if they actually did use some practical effects. I think there is a couple of practical effects.
Yeah, there's probably a couple. They used a couple CGI scenes too.
But it's so stupid. Personally, and I know I kind of surprised Zach with this last year when I was texting him, I like this one more than 3 just because of the stupid entertainment value of it. But as far as quality goes, it's in the same Jeff Goldblum pile of shit as the third movie is. So, to me, it's probably D tier. I think that's what I put it in. but it's one of
Yeah.
those D tiers where you can watch it and laugh at it.
Yeah.
It's so bad. Um, I don't know if there was any writer problems or director problems with this movie. Josh Whedon is very hit or miss for me. I've never seen Firefly. I can't really speak on that series. I know a lot of people love it. Of course, Avengers is great, but he's had his fair share of misses like Justice League and a bunch of other stuff. So
Hmm.
uh, yeah, it's not a good movie. If you have a couple of drinks and you want to watch something really dumb, you're bored one night and it's like, oh, do I want to watch this or Alone in the Dark to just laugh at it because it's all shit to begin with. I would say that it's a fun time if you're drinking, but if you don't have a bottle in your hand or a glass in your hand, I don't think you're going to enjoy it too much.
Yeah, I'm not gonna talk about this one too much. It's comical, as you said, and that really is just. I think it's also kind of a telling. Josh Whedon wrote this, and it kind of does kind of come off like if Marvel tried to make an Alien film.
Yeah.
um, Early Marvel. But yeah, it's gory. It's strange. It kind of almost comes across and like I'm not just saying this again because I mentioned Joss Whedon, but it does kind of come across like a comic book movie in a sense. Like it's got these just weird over the top scenes that really only ever existed in those types of media formats. And so yeah, I definitely had that in the D tier as well. I still prefer Alien 3 just because it's at least trying to be something for me. Even though it definitely didn't execute, versus Resurrection just doesn't even feel like it's trying. Um, but I'm fine to say they're equally shit and put them both in D tier.
Yeah, it's either do you want like polished shit,
Yeah,
that's really stupid and dumb and entertaining and it doesn't look like that they smeared guacamole on the screen, but you know it's or do you want to be
uh,
depressed and relate to none of the characters? Like
yeah.
at least they're kind of somewhat hamming it up in this movie.
Mm.
Um, but that was the '90s was a weird time for alien films. It really was. Um, but anyways, moving on, we have Prometheus, which is 2012,
Yep.
and I can't remember if you saw this one in theaters. I didn't. It was one that I didn't end up seeing in theaters. Um, I
I think
think
that.
Ridley Scott was at the helm of this one,
Yeah.
if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken.
Yeah. Yep.
Michael Fassbender is in this one, who's a great actor. And this is a prequel to the entire Alien franchise. Um, what are your thoughts on it? I'm curious because this is going to kind of be interesting if we differ or stay on the same.
So for me, it's definitely a visually stunning film. I love the visuals of the new world, the uncharted planet, and I am a sucker for ancient aliens. That's just a fun little just idea to like bounce around and make content, sci-fi movie content, TV show content off of that premise that there was a race uh, that was so advanced and they visited Earth and seeded the seeds of life, and it kind of explores and develops the backstory of how the alien species was created as like a bio weapon for mass extermination, and it backfired against the engineers, as they call them in this movie. Um, there's lots of big philosophical questions involved, and I really love movies that kind of make you think about those types of things. Um, there are a couple of like decisions the characters make in the movie. I'm trying to avoid spoilers, obviously, but they don't quite make sense, and there's a lot of questions still left unanswered that the franchise never addressed either. So it's a little frustrating. But generally speaking, the visuals of the film, the whole idea and premise behind it, and then those philosophical questions that are kind of buried into this plot. I kind of see it for me as it's probably my lowest A tier, but it's an A tier film.
Yeah, yeah. It's one that it took me a while to really get into. I think I ended up seeing it twice, not in theaters, just kind of at my own pace at home watching it. But it was one that I was excited for because I was like, wow, we haven't really visited that universe in a long time, and it being a prequel, you wonder when you're watching the first Alien, like, oh my god, what happened here? Like, because the
Mm.
set pieces in that movie are so huge, and just all the H.R. Geiger designs are like crazy, and there's like there's got to be some kind of backstory to this. And then really Scott's like, okay, let me put out this one and kind of get my thoughts on it and kind of have everything lined up to connect with the original movie. I can't remember how many years it takes place before the first movie. Um,
I don't know off my head.
that I don't know. But once again, the cast is very good. It has Michael Fassbender, like I mentioned, Charlize Theron's in it, Idris Alba. There's Guy Pearce, Logan Marshall Green, Sean Harris. It's got a stacked cast to it, and visually, it's awesome. Like Zach was saying, that the visuals are pretty damn cool.
The
Uh,
scale, as you mentioned.
yeah, the
Yep.
scale is just freaking huge in this movie. It's a little more bleak than the other Alien movies. Just the coloration of it and everything's a little bit more bleak. A
Washed
lot of
out.
yeah, washed out. A lot of blues.
Yeah. Like,
A lot of whites. A lot of grays. But I like it. I mean, it's a film that it's got a lot of cool moments in it. It's more based around the creatures and the gods that are on this planet, and it has a lot of more like android things that are not just Ian Holmes' character from the first movie. You have David, which is Michael Fassbender's character. He's not human. When he's like extremely intelligent. It's fascinating how the characters kind of interact with him, and I remember really really liking it. To me, it's more in like the high B tier personally. It's not my favorite by far, but I obviously it's a huge step up from the last two entries in this franchise, and it's one that's always fascinating to me. It's one that I kind of can look at, and it's like at least it's intriguing. At least it's not like really bad. It's so bad it's hammy, or it's so bad it's just boring. It's actually a very intriguing movie,
yeah.
and it doesn't have any huge over the top moments in it, but just the spectacle of it alone is like really engaging, and I think it's just a damn good movie personally. I mean, it does have some questions that are left unanswered that they don't really go through with, and but the pacing and everything, I'm perfectly fine with it. I didn't have really any problems with it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm fine with putting it high B. It'll be my highest B tier for sure.
Okay, moving on, we have another one that Ridley Scott was at the helm of, and that was Alien Covenant in 2017. And this one, if I'm not mistaken, is a direct sequel to Prometheus because Michael Fassbender is in this movie as David.
Hmm.
You haven't seen this one, right?
No, I have seen this one.
You have seen it. Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if you had or not.
I
I
was
saw it in
very excited
theaters.
because I was really worried after Prometheus came out, and I don't think it did that well box office wise.
I don't think so.
And I was really worried that they weren't going to go further with it. But then, 5 years later, we get this one.
Yeah, yeah. This one, obviously, I was pumped for because I saw the trailer and I was like, "Oh my god!" There's like a giant like xenomorph in it, and there was, it was basically his sequel to Prometheus, saying, "Hey, you're going to get a little bit more answers from some of the questions you have from the last movie, and we're going to kind of put the xenomorphs in here to kind of give you an idea of how their story started and how they came up, and was in the first movie and stuff." And Michael Fassbender returns in this one, and you also have Billy Crudup. You have Danny McBride. Just another cast full of people that are in this one. Danny McBride was a really weird choice. I thought with his little cowboy hat, dude's hilarious, but it was kind of random. Um, but this one I had a lot of problems with personally. I felt like that it feels like the first half feels like a Prometheus movie, and then that last like 30 to 40 minutes, it felt like really. So I was like, okay, let's turn to the Xenomorph Alien movie real quick and get all the gory kills in. And there's a kill in this movie that's extremely graphic, but it's straight out of like Friday the 13th to me. Like these two characters, male and females, having a shower, and it doesn't shy away from anything. I mean, it's like full frontal nudity. And it's like this is straight up like Jason Voorhees because Xenomorph like stalks them, kills both of them. Awesome kill. It's like super gory, but it felt like Friday the 13th, and I'm just like that took me out of, and I'm just like, okay, Alien really wasn't a slasher film. It was just your alien sci-fi movie. None of the characters I really remember much besides David's character, which is the most fascinating character in this movie. Danny McBride and them are just kind of there. It seems like they were just kind of on autopilot the whole time. Yeah, exactly. Like I'm here to be a body, and they kill me off. But visually, once again, it's got more of the bleak, washed out blue and gray a scale to it, like Prometheus. He kind of did another rendition of that with the same visuals and stuff. It does feel big. It's a movie that does, like, the scale is big, and that's one thing he succeeds at as a director. Like, you see stuff like Blade Runner, it's like, my God, the scope of this movie is like, today it would be like Dune 2, like the scope's just massive. And back then it's like Blade Runner was like, and Alien were like huge. But it's just one to me that falls by the wayside. I don't really remember a whole lot about it, besides just killing off the main, the characters in it. They're just the food for the xenomorphs, pretty much. But everybody does an okay job. It's just such a filler cast to me. They're not bad actors. Michael Fassbender is a fantastic actor, but it's just they're not really any characters you can connect with. And to me, he's just like scribbled some notes down, like, let's make this first act Prometheus sequel. And then the end, it's like, we got to throw something in that's going to let the crowd be like, hey, xenomorphs are back.
Yeah.
And like, let's do a fast, like 30, 40 minutes where it just slaughters everybody. And then you're like, well, that's it. That's the end of it. So he was trying to balance the two. And I feel like he just kind of stumbled over himself by doing that. And it's weaker than Prometheus. It's not as bad as 3 and 4, but it's the weaker one of the two.
Yeah, you really kind of highlight all the things I was going to mention. I wish it was. I think the issue with Prometheus from a box office perspective was it didn't have the alien in it until like the very, very end, and a lot of your typical just moviegoer, maybe not like Alien franchise enthusiast or fan, is they're coming to those movies because they want to see the alien kill things. So you're right. They really tried. The first half of the film is like awesome. We're getting more backstory. I'm getting to learn more and more about the universe and how all these things came to be. And then I guess the the studio probably interjected and was like, "Hey, we're not doing this again. You gotta turn this into a slasher film." And so I almost like wonder if it was sort of like a closeted middle finger to the studio, because it really just takes a weird turn, like theme wise, to that slasher horror. It doesn't even remind me of the original. It's not like survival horror, creeping, slow and tension and all that good stuff. It's just, as you said, it's Friday the 13th, and it's just so messy to do those two together. So I actually had this one as my top D tier movie. Okay. But if you wanted to say it was more C tier than D tier.
I had it in the C/D tier. So either one is fine with me. I was very much disappointed in it, though, especially after so many years of Prometheus. And
do that because I think it belongs there.
But yeah. It was really disappointing. I was excited for it, and it just didn't really fill up my expectations, I guess, because I know when Ridley Scott's on, he can be a fantastic director, but when you have people like 25th Century Fox, hitting him with the cane, like, like he's like, freaking, what's his name from Jurassic Park, like, that's literally what, it's like just pulling his hand away at the last minute, like, no. We got to have some carnage at the end of this, but Yeah, it was just rushed. It just felt rushed to me. Started off with a really good story, with the sequel to Prometheus, and then it just the back half. You're just like, what is this movie? Like it stumbles and falls right on its face by the end of it. So very forgettable. I've seen it one time, and then I tried to watch it at home, and I couldn't even get through it. I was like, I'll check it out later again. I don't think my opinions really changed.
Yeah.
Anyways, this is 2024's Alien Romulus next up.
Mm-hmm.
And this is, I am blanking on the dude's name. I should be kicking myself because I like his work. Um, let's see. This is Fede Alvarez's Alien, which the trailer for this movie, I was like, I went and saw something, and when we got the teaser, I was like, this looks fucking awesome. Like, it's
Yeah.
the same dude that did the Evil Dead remake. Spoiler, that's my favorite Evil Dead movie. I love that film. It's just carnage candy to the max. And then you have Don't Breathe, which was very intense, very good thriller movie. So I was pumped for it. I was like, man, we're gonna, get in here and have a completely different story. It's gonna be over the top, just carnage candy galore, memorable kills, hopefully memorable characters. And originally on my channel, which if you guys don't know, I have a separate channel, Southern Film Talk, where I do my little short out of the theater reactions. I've been doing them since like early last year, early 2024. I gave this movie like an 8.5 because I was just like, I was coming off the high of seeing it. And I remember, which opinions are, different. That's what makes conversation so good about movies is opinions are different. But I remember I was like, man, I can't wait to hear what Zach says. And then he like give it like a 6. And I was just like, shit. I was like, am I on an island with this? But I saw it once, and over the course of a couple of days after seeing it, I was like, you know what? I'm starting to see glaring issues the more I think about it. And starting out, the movie's like awesome. And once again, just like mirroring Prometheus, the android character is the best part of this movie.
Yeah.
The actor David Johnson, who is Andy in this movie,
Mm-hmm.
he was in The Long Walk this year. He was fantastic in that film. Um, he's in it, and he's the best character by far out of this whole cast. It's member berries. That's what it relies on. It's the typical like, let's rehash something from the first two movies, and let's add some of the quotes from that, and let's add this and that. And the movie has it tries to have an identity to be different. And when it incorporates Ian Holmes' character from the first film, that's when it really lost me because I was like, okay, movie, you're right there to being original if you just keep this pace. And then when they did that, and the ending with the get away from her, you bitch,
Mm-hmm.
that killed my entire vibe. The more I thought about it, and it's a shame because the movie has potential. The dude's a damn good director. He always has been. He's awesome when it comes to horror and thriller movies, and I want to see him succeed in more films. And I wish he would go back to the Evil Dead series because he did so well with the remake. But I just never believed in these characters. They were cannon fodder, like Zach said, with Covenant. I didn't really follow the main girl, which was Rain, played by Kaylee Spannin, I think's her last name, Spinning. I probably butchered that, but she was the one that was in Civil War. She's a fairly new actress, and she's a good actress. I've seen her in a couple of other things, but I never got behind her as, okay, this is the Sigourney Weaver clone. This is the badassery, female lead that I want to see in a film like this. I never got behind her with that. And the rest of the characters, there's an obnoxious douchebag, and guess what? If you watch horror movies, he gets killed off. So, you always have that asshole that's going to end up getting what's coming to him by the end of it. And rightfully so. But a terrible character. Then you have these other two characters, which Isabella Mercen, who played Hawk Girl in Superman, and she's been in The Last of Us and a couple other stuff. Uh, she's in it. She does fairly well in the movie, and there is a cool like baby, I guess you face hugger scene where this girl's like, I think she has like this X-ray thing that she can see throughout her like stomach and chest area, and this thing instead of like going through the chest cavity, you can see the whole thing like going through her. That was a cool kill.
Mhm.
It's graphic when it needs to be. It's I mean, if you've seen Evil Dead, like Fetty does not shy away from graphic, gory kills, and he does it in this movie as well. But when the third act came along and they were just rehashing stuff from the first and second movie, I completely checked out. And then you got this big, mutated, 6'8" fucking Great Khali character in this movie where he's just massive. And I get the scare factor of it and being like, this is really intense, and them trying to go like almost like a Dead Space route with
Yeah.
like just this massive, terrifying creature. But once again, it felt like it was tacked on because you have the 8 xenomorphs and there's a multitude of them. And then you get past the "get away from her, you bitch" line, and then you're like, okay, they're safe now. Then all of a sudden, one of the characters is pregnant. Guess what? It's a baby xenomorph. And it rips through her body, kills her, and then it turns into this 6'8", fucking monster. And then you're just like, well, what are we doing at the end of this movie? And it's really bad. It's not the best CGI. It's not the worst, but it's definitely one that you can tell it's a little bit glaring. But yeah, it lost me. When it got to that point with the quote and the Ian Holm character, I was like, okay, you're teetering too much on Ridley Scott territory now. And then when it got to the end, I was like, it's like Fetty just like put the pencil down and was like, okay, we're just going to create this giant monster at the end of it, and that's going to be the end of the movie, and that's it. And then we'll see where the characters go from the next one. And there hasn't really been any news speculating the next film with these characters or the main lead. Alien Earth came out. I haven't seen it. I don't think Zach's seen it. So we can't really give our thoughts on that. I've heard a lot of mixed things about it. I will say
That
that.
one's like the earliest timeline wise, though, right? It's
I
like,
think it is, yeah.
it's like a prequel.
Yes, exactly. But no, I mean, I was hot for this one. I was blown up about it. Oh my god, it's amazing. And then just every single day that I was thinking about it, I was like, more and more. I was like, no, I'm just kind of getting out of it a little bit. And then when Zach brought up like Zach made a lot of good critical points about it just relying too much on nostalgic. And I was just like, the more I think about it, you're right. It does pull too many punches from the first and second movie where it's just like, okay, let's just copy off of that.
Yeah.
And it's just like, come up with something original, man. That's the problem I had with oh my god, it was a movie I saw this year and I cannot remember what it was, and it was just nostalgia heavy to the max. And I think it was Black Phone 2. It was Black Phone 2. I was like, it kind of, not to veer off into that movie, it's a completely different genre and film, but I was just like, this is fascinating. And then it gets to the end and it turns into Nightmare on Elm Street. And I'm just like, come on, guys. Like, do something different, do something fresh.
Yeah.
And that was a problem with me with this movie. It started off cool. The world was cool. Where they were staying at the first of it was neat. The visual effects were very good. But at the end of the day, it's just like Fetty just relied too much on nostalgic. And
Yeah.
I don't mean to get winded with this movie, but that's just kind of my thoughts on it. And I was highly disappointed, especially after seeing Covenant. I really thought we were going to try to tread new waters, but didn't happen with Romulus for me.
Yeah. Yeah, for it to take place between Alien and Aliens, it sure did borrow a lot from the second one. I mean, it was very much like a greatest hits compilation. It shows at 3 a.m. on your TV ad, right? I brought back my review that I sent Cody because I was like, I do remember that one pretty vividly because I appreciated that it went back to like xenomorphs versus humans horror kind of thing. back to basics. But yeah, it really just turns in that third act. I mean, but I got my review pulled up down here, so that's what I'm reading from, just so I can go back over some of the points I made, because I was very um, passionate about this film, wanting it to be good. So they're stunning shots, sci-fi candy. It's visually pleasing. It focuses and then I'll go into the negatives. That's not all I pull. It focuses on some cookie cutter, angsty teens, youngsters, young 20s, whatever they are, who somehow have incredibly in-depth knowledge of high-tech equipment and can pilot a spaceship, yet are somehow enslaved by Weyland-Yutani. And I know it's the future, and maybe that's plausible, but anyways, that was just a weird choice. Biggest flaw to me is the pacing, and I did not buy Kaylee Spaney, or however you say her, as a leading lady. She looked very childish and did not have the screen presence that I would want from like someone to command the audience. And I'm sure she's a fantastic actor. It was just her character was not written to the best of her abilities, I don't think. The emotional investment in all those characters is really weak. I don't really care what happens to them. David Johnson, as you mentioned, is definitely the highlight. The guy's fantastic. The way he was able to like portray the broken android through his like speech and body language was awesome. I think if I were an actor and I got asked to do an Alien franchise, I think playing an android would be the most interesting thing to do, because they're usually pretty complex characters. And I was really only cheering for him during the movie, to be honest. And outside of him and the leading lady, we're really only given one other character story and motivation, and it's the douche teenager. And and that's a prototypical douche teenager character from a movie. I can't think of anything about the other three characters other than one was pregnant, one was bald, and the other one was kind to the main lady. And then that deep fake of Ian Holm, I was like, yuck.
Oh God, I forgot it was a deep fake. My God.
Yeah, he's dead. Yeah, the whole situation they set up in the space station, I couldn't really follow. Were the aliens already there and fully grown, just waiting for the next band of travelers to show up? Or if so, why didn't they attack immediately as soon as they landed? And this genome was supposed to improve humanity's genes, but did they not watch the whole video of the rat? But I guess they needed a plot device to keep them there longer and show the company's evil. Final act, unnecessary plot twist. Pregnant girl gives birth to the dumbest looking alien in the entire franchise. Even worse than the newborn hybrid from Resurrection. Absolutely. It was entertaining. It scratched the itch. Sci-fi, mild horror. I came for nostalgia. It didn't let me down, but it went a little too far in that category. The visuals were recreated very faithfully. I appreciated that. That's about as much nostalgia as I really needed, was just make it look like the first film and give it the vibe and the aura and the energy of the first film. But then they kind of leaned into the action of Aliens, and then they did all the little quotes and all that BS. And it's fine. It's enjoyable. You could watch it and be okay with it. Personally, it's the top of my C tier, but
yeah,
C-tier.
That's where I put it at for me as well. I had it. I wasn't really dipping into the D much. C was kind of where I feel like is a good play. I think it's better than Covenant. I think it's more enjoyable than Covenant.
Yeah,
it's just it's enjoyable, but it's once again it and Covenant's kind of in the same boat as one time watch for me. It's not a movie I'll ever revisit. To be honest with you, I just these last two Alien films, I just want so much more.
Yep.
And that's the unfortunate part, is it's just like it's not what you want. And I know it was, a lot of people liked it. I liked it. I had the blindfold on. I was completely blind by, I was like, man, this is so good. And it started off so well. Like the first act's like really good, but it just consistently gets worse as it goes along. And then, yeah, it's exhausting. It's just one of those that you don't have really much to say about it. So I think we've said all we could say Moving on, AVP, Alien versus Predator, and this is from, is it '04?
Yep.
I think. Uh,
Yeah, it's 04.
yeah, 2004, by the wonderful Oscar-worthy director Paul W.S. Anderson. What a legend this man is.
I
I
agree.
mean,
Good last name.
yeah. I mean, look at this lineup he's made. Mortal Kombat, which is good. I will die on that hill. I love that movie from 1995. Event Horizon, I haven't seen, but I've heard it's like batshit crazy. Resident Evil is atrocious. Uh, he did Death Race with Jason Statham. I don't know if that's any good. Three Musketeers is probably awful. Pompeii, Monster Hunter. He had one this year. I don't know if you heard about it, called In the Lost Lands, with Dave Bautista and Amelia Jovovich, which looks,
maybe I did hear about it, but I never saw it.
it looks terrible. Um, yeah, this dude has a track record of being absolute shit. And this is PG-13. Well, we could take
Yep.
a little detour a little bit past the rated R rating. Um, and this one is one that I remember my grandpa loved because he had it on DVD, and I checked it out at a younger age. I can't even remember how old I was when I first saw it, but I was like, I might have saw it before the original Alien film because I was just like, this is cool. Like, it's like it's both of them at the same time and they're fighting each other.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, this one takes place in like the Antarctica.
Yeah,
I
Antarctica.
remember, and it's a team that gets caught in between. It says two legends on IMDb, but they get caught up in the typical, like, we're going to go check this out for science, and then they end up, and it's the is it Wellington Company that ends up like sending them off. I think Lance Reddick's in this movie, which he's like the leader of the whole Wellington Foundation, which is always up to some shady shit in these movies. But they send them off to Antarctica anyways.
Whaling Utani. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Whaling Utani. Thank you.
Yeah.
And this one is like it's whatever. It has some fun elements to it. You definitely have to kind of turn your brain off for it. It's a popcorn movie essentially.
Oh yeah.
There's not a lot of gore in it. There's some green gore from the xenomorphs and the predator. When the predators, it's one of those situations where it's like, here's human characters that I give, a zero fuck about, but here's these awesome like predator and alien xenomorph characters that are going to fight it out, duke it out. I want to see that, and it gives you that every once in a while. It's not one of those. It's like, oh man, it's every second. They're fighting each other, but it's cool when they actually are on screen and they're battling back and forth because most of this movie is practical effects. So it does have some cool elements with that on it. It's super over the top and big blown out action scenes, which Paul W.S. Anderson is notorious for. This dude is like notorious for the slow mo shots and just all these over the top fucking action antics that he has in his movies. The main characters I don't really know a whole lot about. I'm looking up the cast right now because it escapes me. Santa Lathan, I think is how you say her name. She's good in it. She's the lead actress in this movie. You have a couple of others. Lance Hendrickson is in this movie as well. And I just think it kind of ends there. That's about it. It's like two or three known actors. But yeah, it's one of those that it's funny to me because we will get to Requiem, unfortunately. But it's funny to me. Everybody was crying and complaining. It needed to be rated R. It needed to be graphic. It needed to be gory like Alien and Predator is. And it's just hilarious that the PG-13 Alien AVP ended up being 10 times better than the rated R AVP.
Yeah.
But it's probably his, just because I haven't seen Event Horizon and I've seen all the Resident Evil movies and they all suck ass.
You like torturing yourself.
Yeah, exactly. That's a marathon that I would never do. That's for
Or maybe we
sure.
should. I don't
Oh
know.
boy, yeah. Just have a
Mystery
man.
Science Theater 3000. Here we come.
My God, man, I would be so plastered by the second movie. It'd be like, yeah, that's it. I'm calling it. So, putting all my chips in after that. But yeah, this one I remember kind of enjoying somewhat. It's stupid. It's just like I said, it's big budget, turn your brain off type of movie. It's what you I think for the most part you get what you came to see in the title. There is a little bit too much of these characters you don't give a shit about. The lead actress is pretty good, and I remember liking her in it. But everybody else, you're just like they're there once again, cannon fodder to get killed off. Lance Riddick, is there to be like, hey, I want a paycheck.
Yep.
Lance Hendrickson is there for, hey, I want a paycheck, and that's about it. But yeah, it's probably just because I've seen for the most part, all the Resident Evil movies, and as atrocious as they are, I think this and Mortal Kombat's probably his two best shining moments, if you want to call it that. I have heard Event Horizon is good. Like, it's just batshit crazy sci-fi, and Sam Neill is the absolute madman in that movie, and it's super gory. I'd like to see it. I hadn't seen that one. But overall, though, I think it's fun. It has elements in it. It's one of those that it came out in the early 2000s. Everybody was doing the whole versus thing where it's like, we got Freddy versus Jason. Now we got to do Alien versus Predator.
Yeah.
And Freddy versus Jason is not necessarily bad. I used to think that it was trash, and the more I watched it, it's fun. It's characters that are there that you don't care about that get killed off in cool ways, and it's okay. I think I like it way more than Covenant and Alien 3 and 4 personally, just because it's a fun movie to watch, but it's not a movie that I ever really go back to. It's just kind of like it's there, it exists, it happened. It was the early 2000s where we were in a weird time period where everybody was facing each other, and there was like heavy metal music, new metal music in every movie known to man, and it was a weird weird time period for movies. But I hadn't seen it in forever. Do you remember the last time you watched it? It's been years for
I
me.
probably haven't watched it since like 2009, maybe. So
Yeah, same. I think maybe I don't know, I might have watched it maybe like 2013, 2012, something like that, but it's been forever since I've seen it.
yeah.
But what are your thoughts on it? I'm curious.
Yeah, it's another one. Like the premise is cool. Like the whole fact that predators breed aliens in Antarctica. It's like a hunting ground, and it's like another ancient, the pyramid under the ice and all that, whatever, and the queen down there. It's very watered down, as you said, because of the PG-13. But it is a popcorn flick, and I do have a soft spot for those occasionally, as long as I know what I'm getting into. I can only imagine if I was like a little bit older when this one came out, like 4 to 7 years older than I am now, and hadn't been able to like grow up and like see the original Alien films and the Predator films, and then hear the trailer get announced for this or something, and been like, oh my god, I can't wait, it's gonna be so awesome, and then kind of have that letdown. But I didn't have that letdown. I just watched it, well after it was out of theaters, and I was young, and I was like, the premise was just really cool to me. I was a big Predator fan over the Aliens when I was younger, just because of the more action gung ho stuff that's in the Predator films. But yeah, I mean, it's a fun crossover. I had it at the back of my C tier.
C tier. Yeah, I think that's what let's see. AVP. I had it on C as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think that it quite gets, I think the quality and just the overall look of Romulus is better. And it definitely, I don't want to say the characters, they suck in that movie, except for David Johnson. But it's, I don't really have much else to say to it. It's fun. It's, and like Zach said, if I was a little bit older, this came out in 2004. If I was like maybe like 13 or 14, maybe 15, for like, holy shit, this is awesome. But
Yeah.
I was like 9 years old, at the time, and I didn't really care. The only thing I cared about when I was 9 years old was Star Wars and wrestling. So I was just I just had no interest in really seeing it. Moving on, We have AVP Requiem.
Did you pour another drink?
Yeah, I still have a little bit left over here. A little bit more vodka on me. Um, so this is wonderful because this is directed by two directors, which is always a great thing when you got two directors
It always
with
works.
two,
What are you talking about?
yeah, two minds that think alike. Um, but let's run down their biography, I guess you could say, or discography, what they've
Filmography.
done.
Yeah.
Yeah, filmography. Thank you. I'm over here talking about music and stuff. They did the last film they ever did was Skyline, if you remember that film
Nope.
from 2010. um, but listen to these bangers. They did Nickelback's "How You Remind Me" music
Okay.
video.
Yeah.
Nice. Godsmack "I Stand Alone" music video. Linkin Park's "Crawling" music video. Disturbed's "Pray" music video. A Perfect Circle passive music video. 50 Cent "Get Up" music video. Moving Mountains by Usher music video. Love in the Club. yeah, exactly. Let's switch that. And out of all that, they had Skyline and the big old 2007 piece of shit that is AVP Requiem. And, the sound of it's just making Zach knock glasses over there. So, just the thought of it. I have not seen this film in forever. It's been a long time. And I remember actually having somewhat of excitement to this movie because, like, my God, it's rated R. It's going to be super graphic and super gory and a fun time. And maybe we'll get just a big throwdown. No, you have to find the fucking LED light just to see this movie because it's fucking atrocious, man. Like, the camera work is like if like, but Paul Greengrass was on a coke binge or something. Like, it's just absolutely terrible. This the shaky cam. It's low lighted. You can't see anything. 90% of this film takes place at night. It's about like these Alien and Predator, like
Predaliens.
Pred aliens. Thank you. In a rural Colorado town, which sounds cool. Like, yeah, predators are hunting in the Colorado mountains, killing off teens. Like, that could be a cool premise. But it never results to that because if it actually happened, I couldn't fucking see it because the movie's looking so dark, and it's just like the acting is atrocious. And going back to what we were saying about Alien and Alien Covenant with the Friday the 13th slasher vibe to this movie, it's that full on. The dialogue is atrocious in it. Like, there's characters that you don't give a shit about. The only thing I remember about this movie is I think there was a scene where they were on a helicopter at the end of it and they had to end up bombing the town because the aliens hatched and they were trying to kill them while they were getting away. So essentially, in the same year, it was let's do 28 weeks later's ending and turn it into Alien and Predator. Not comparing it to that film, my God. That's go watch 28 Weeks Later. Don't watch this movie. But yeah, man, I'm looking at like the cast listing, and there's really nobody. I know John Ortiz. I've seen him in a bunch of stuff. And let's see, Robert Joy. I've seen him in a few things as well. But this is some dude gave it a 7 on IMDb.
Oh my God,
he needs to be shot. But this movie is absolutely atrocious. This is worse than Alien 4 and Alien 3 in my eyes, because at least Alien 3, you kind of got an idea of what they were going with, even though the characters were just unlikable to hell. The fourth one is so ham and stupid and just cheesy that you kind of forget about the story along the way. This movie isn't enjoyable at all. There's nothing. There's no merit to this movie. There's nothing to enjoy with it. It's all obnoxious characters getting killed off one by one. It's characters you don't relate to. If it was actually, if you're actually able to see it, it's a cool idea to have, okay, aliens and predators, they're going to attack in Colorado in a rural area. That's kind of neat. I've had a conversation with my good friend Jay before about, like, me and him have went back and forth. Like, what would it be cool if they expanded the Predator story more? And I was even talking to Zach about this after we got out of Badlands. After we both did that weekend, I was like, wouldn't it be cool if they had a setting where Predator was like in Moscow, or Predator was like in ancient Japan, which they've done before in like the animated series before, or the animated movie. But and it is a cool idea to have it in rural Colorado, but it never leads to anything. And if it does, you can't see it. So it's just like, what is the point of this film? I have no positive things to say about this movie. I remember nothing about it. I think they kind of went for practical effects once again, which is cool. But like I said, you can't see it to really have a voice of opinion on it. So, I mean, that's it for me. That's just my thoughts on it. I don't think there is any redeeming qualities to this film.
No, yeah, as you said, it could have been a cool premise, the Predalien, because I think the end of Predator versus Alien, the Predator wins, we think, but then, the typical Alien ending where, oh, actually, I'm on your ship and I impregnate you, and then the ship crash lands, and then they have to send a cleaner Predator who's there to clean up messes. Because they kind of delve into, in this franchise, they kind of delve more into like the culture of the Predators a little bit, which was kind of neat to see. I mean, but you said, well, all we really need to say about it, it was so darkly lit. They filmed it in your house.
Oh my goodness, man.
Yeah, it's the low point for me for both franchises. It's the worst film. It's the back of the D.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I have it. I just put in my notes ass and then put D behind it because that's my thoughts on it.
And the bottom's getting real full down there.
It is a little bit. I knew that we were gonna throw some down there for sure because unfortunately not all of these are perfect. But anyways, moving on, we are now switching over to the Predator aspect of things, and that is the original The Predator, or Predator. It's just Predator from 1987. I'll let you take it away on this one.
Well, guys, all I got to say is, Dylan, you son of a bitch. The greatest handshake in movie history. Classic 80s sci-fi action blend. Arnold Schwarzenegger is one of my favorite cheese popcorn action actors. I love that man to death. He's an American hero as far as I'm concerned. It kind of introduced the whole, technologically advanced alien war that's here to like hunt, prey, the most dangerous prey or whatever. It's over the top. It's pulpy. There's one-liners. It has some intense action scenes. It's a little suspenseful, which in good, tasteful ways, right? I could go on and on, but to me, this is S tier.
Oh yeah, easily. That pretty much sums up everything I think about this movie. It's awesome. I remember one night I was watching it with my friend, and I will say it's probably been about 6 years since I've seen it. It's been a little while, but every time I watch it, it's such a joy to see, and the cast, especially in this one, along with us talking about Alien, the original Alien and the first Predator film have the best cast by far. Mm-hmm. Their Alien is very interesting. This one is so just macho, just manly, over the top action. And I remember seeing this with a friend of mine. And we were watching it. It's one of those like press play and go. We were watching it on PlayStation together. And I was probably maybe, I ain't gonna lie, I was high as hell watching this movie. And I remember the first act, and I forgot how funny it is when they raid the village and they're just like blasting through people, and these dudes are just flying like 20 feet back. And me and him were laughing so hard at that shit. And the trailer, it's got one of the best trailers for any movie, because we always talk about and complain how trailers are nowadays because they show too much of the film. This movie gives nothing away in the trailer. You see the thermal vision one time, throughout the trailer, and the rest of it's just like, it's like something's out there, and that's it. That's all you get, and you might hear like a sound effect from the actual predator, and it's really really cool how they didn't spoil it, because you see the trailer and just like it's just your typical Arnie action movie. There's not a whole lot to it, and I will say the guy that directed this, which is let me get his name up real quick. I just had it pulled up. I want to say it's John McTiernan, who is a very good director. If you've seen his filmography, he directed this movie, and then he went on to direct Die Hard. He done the Hunt for Red October. He did Medicine Man. He did Last Action Hero. He did Die Hard with a Vengeance. He did the Thomas and Crown Affair. The dude's done a lot of good movies, a lot of good films. But this one has an all-star cast along with Arnold. I mean, Carl Weathers, R.I.P., was fantastic in it. Bill Duke's awesome. He's like one of my favorite characters in this movie. That literally just shaves his face with his giant Rambo knife, which is badass as hell. Jesse the Body Ventura is also in it as well. It just has a really good cast. And Kevin Peter Hall, shouting him out, the guy that played the Predator. Unfortunately, he's not with us anymore, but he was great. Dude, actually, fun fact, he played the Sasquatch in Harry and the Hendersons, which I always thought was kind of unique. Dude played a Sasquatch and the Predator. But this movie it's got great one-liners. It's all action heavy. It's very brutal. It's like it doesn't shy away from anything, especially when they're doing the 3-point shoulder blaster that the Predator has. He's blowing people's arms off, and you see it, the sight on their head, and it'll cut away sometimes, but other times it just full on just shows it, and it never shies away from it. All the characters are colorful, they're funny, they're lively, that they're your kind of just your typical I guess they're commandos, I guess you could call it. And they're just on this mission in Central America in the jungle, to kind of clean out this village and rescue this girl that's in there. And then it turns into a lot more than what they bargained for. But it's such a great film. The pace is great. The last act is freaking awesome. Arnie with the mud and the camouflage, and it's just man versus prey, and it's man versus the hunter. It's just badass. The whole movie is, and it's S tier for me too. I don't know. I always flip back and forth between it and Alien. I do prefer it more than Aliens, even though they're both extremely action heavy.
No.
But just the presence of Arnold, like Zach said, me and Zach are like huge Arnie fans. We always have been. Him and Stallone just owned the 80s and early 90s, for sure. And yeah, I have no complaints with this movie. It's great. And great director, great cast, great action, great humor. There's not a negative in sight for this movie for me. So moving on, we have Predator 2 from 1990 with Danny Glover and Gary Busey, which this was the one I was talking about before we started filming. I actually just now saw this movie.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it was on sale on Vudu for like $5, and I was kind of in the Predator mood after seeing Badlands. I'm like, I'm going to watch it because I remember me and you had kind of a short conversation about it at your house years ago, probably 5 or 6, maybe 7 years ago. It was on TV, and you had it playing in the background. And I remember I was like, I have not seen this movie. And you're like, what? Because you saw it way before I did. And I was like, I just never had much interest in it.
I bought a Predator box set when I was younger that I think it was both Alien versus Predators and then Predator 1 and 2.
Yeah. See, I have the first one on Blu-ray, and then I have the same Alien one you have with the really cool, lenticular almost cover to it, through kind of like a 3D color to it. But I saw this one because I was interested in it. It takes place in Los Angeles. It's a different different theme. There was a game I think based on it called Concrete Jungle for the Xbox that came out years later. I don't know if it was based around this movie, but it was definitely in I think it was either in New York or Los Angeles it took place. And Danny Glover being the leading man's awesome. He plays Mike in it, Lieutenant Mike, and the dude's a damn good actor. Like he's been in the Lethal Weapon movies, and he's always good at that role, kind of like the gruff cop role. He's always been great at that. Gary Busey is also in it. He's kind of like the forensic team. He's like the dickhead in it, and he plays a very hammy, over the top, character in it, which is usual for him. That's the usual, but they both kind of butt heads, and they have a good moments in it as well. Or Robert Devine, I think is how you say his last name, from the Goonies. He's in it. Bill Paxton's in it, which is still the only man in film history to die from a Terminator, an Alien, and a Predator. So that dude was always great in any role he was in. But it does take place in a different setting. It's kind of cool. It has I liked how the aesthetic of it was. There's a heat wave in Los Angeles, and it kind of adds to the Predator's heat-seeking vision and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I like that aspect of it. It kind of borrows from the original, where it doesn't really show him till like the last 30 minutes or so, 30 or 40 minutes. And this is a movie that's very relentless. By the time you get to the end of it, where there's a scene where they're hanging off the cliff, and him and Danny Glover are, and the Predator goes falling into this apartment building, which is hilarious. It's one of the scenes where the older lady wakes up. She's like, "What the hell was that sound?" And goes to the bathroom, and the Predator runs out of the bathroom. I always cracked up at that. And he's like, "I'm Lieutenant so and so," and she's like, "I don't think he gives a shit." That's one of my favorite lines. It's like, but it has a bunch of humorous moments to it. But it's gory. It's super gory. He's basically after like a drug kingpin in Los Angeles is the main thing, that does like voodoo cult like rituals on people, and he's killing off these innocent people. And they definitely add a lot of crime, like 90s cop aesthetic to it, which is really cool. And it's a different take. It's completely different from the first movie. Very much different, and the ending just keeps going. It's one of those where you think it's over, and it just keeps on going till the very last minute of it. But I think everybody does a good job in it. Personally, out of all these, it probably is. Maybe I'm going to say maybe, because there's another one in this tier list that I would almost put in the same category, but it's for right now, thinking of it, my second favorite Predator film, just because I just really enjoyed it. I think it gets too much hate. Like, it didn't get a lot of good reviews when it came out, and people were mixed on it. And I think it's one of those films, over time they really started to appreciate it more. And I don't really have any complaints with it. I liked it. I thought that the entirety of the movie was entertaining. It never bored me. It never lost me. And it's just a fun early 90s movie.
Yeah. I mean, trading out the actual jungle for like the urban jungle was fun, and like making it sort of kind of like a cop drama, which was very popular at the time. Before Danny Glover was not too old for this shit. I also loved that it expanded the Predator lore a good bit in this film. That the first one was just more of like, he's just the enemy, and he's an alien. He has a lot of technology, and this one kind of expanded upon it a little bit more. Also, you got the famous alien Easter egg.
I forgot about that. I can't believe I did. Yeah. I totally forgot about that.
That was always really fun. I guess that was the beginning of the rumors, right? So
it was, yeah.
It took a long time to get to Alien versus Predator. 14 years later.
It's so weird how it mirrors Friday the 13th and Jason and Freddy, because they had the same thing at Jason Goes to Hell in like 93. You had Freddy's glove pull Jason's mask at the end of it, and he starts laughing. We didn't get it again until like 10 years later. So everybody had to wait an eternity for it. But once again, I kind of wanted to... The guy that directed this was Stephen Hopkins, who, for the most part, is a pretty good director. He did this one. He did a Nightmare on Elm Street, The Dream Child, a year before this, it's atrocious. It's one of the worst Nightmare on Elm Street movies, speaking of Freddy. He did one called Blown Away with it was Tommy Lee Jones and Jeff Bridges. I watched that one not too long ago. It was interesting. He did Lost in Space, a ton of episodes of 24. So he's kind of had a lot of stuff under his belt as far as a director,
Yep.
but not as much as McTiernan. But still, this one for me, I put it on my list. I put it in the A tier personally.
I had it in the back of the B.
Back of the B.
Yeah.
I can respect that.
Yeah.
I really have no complaints with it. I think it's a little bit more watchable than Prometheus personally. Don't know if it's a better, like, well-made film than Prometheus.
Yeah.
But I think overall it's a really fun sequel, and it knew what it was going for, and it really strived on that and really did a good job with it. So it's a worthy sequel. It's not Aliens tier good, but it's definitely a fun one.
So you want it at the top of the B or the back of the A?
Oh, we can do top of the B.
All right.
I think that's a good spot for it. All right, moving on is The Predators. Have you seen this one? Or Predators, I should say.
I've not seen either of the next two, so you will have to.
Oh boy, okay. So this is pretty much the remake of the 1987 Predator movie. And when Zach told me he hadn't seen this, I was surprised because I swear I thought you did. But this is one that came out in 2010. The person that directed it, I'm not even going to pronounce the dude's name because I would butcher the hell out of it. He's done 2 episodes of Stranger Things, which is that's a big one. He's done Vacancy, which is the Kate Beckinsale movie. Armored. He did Metallica Through the Never, which is interesting. And that's pretty much where his contributions start and end.
Nimrod.
Apparently, apparently he was one of the characters in Machete as well.
I didn't know Walton Goggins was in this.
Which one? Oh yeah, he is. Yeah. Going over the cast listing, this is
that's great. Mahershala Ali, Danny Trejo, Adrian Brody, Topher Grace.
I know.
Lawrence Fishburne.
Alice Braga. It's interesting. This is and Derek Mears as well. If you guys don't know who that is, he is the actor that played Jason Voorhees in the 2009 Friday the 13th remake, which he's one of the best versions of Jason. That movie has a lot of faults, but he's great in that film. Dude's huge. He's like 6'10". Dude's a freaking monster. But this is pretty much a remake of the original 1987 film. I want to say Walter Goggins plays they all have different backgrounds. They all land. It's weird. It's almost like a freaking Fortnite drop or something. They get out of the plane and they all land and they don't know who they are. They're kind of like they have their own backstory and their own characters. And Lawrence Fishburne takes them in halfway through the movie, and he's more like the dude that's like, man, there's some crazy shit going on. I've been staying here for years and been, trying to navigate their every move and what these creatures are, and they're all like completely like just unaware of the situation until he shows up. And Topher Grace ends up being kind of the main like dickhead in it. He's like which was an interesting choice when I first watched the movie. I was like, okay, I get Adrian Brody. He's like the Arnie character. But Topher Grace kind of plays the villain by the end of it. Kind of spoiler alert there. But this is where they first introduce the Predator versus the bigger Predator type of thing. Like, here's classic Predator, and then here's like this new one that we did for the film. So you have kind of a Predator on Predator throwdown at the end of it, which is fun. I remember this one being really graphic. This is one of the very first ones, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is one of the very first ones where they actually show him ripping the spine out of somebody, which is pretty badass. Love that about it. I love that whole scene where they didn't shy away from the kills. There's a character named Hanzo in this movie, and he is the samurai character to the equivalent of the badass Indian character from the 1987 film.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a really cool throwdown where him and the Predator kind of face off in like almost like a Yakuza
Mm-hmm.
type of way, where they're like in these big fields. And it's like at night, and then they're going up against each other. And he's got his samurai sword, and it has some cool elements. There's moments where there's like booby trap scenes where the Predator will set up booby traps, and they have to kind of be aware of that. And I think Danny Trejo's character ends up getting killed, and either him or Walter Goggins, you actually see him physically reach into his spinal column and pull out his whole freaking skull, which is fatality 101. It's pretty gnarly. And I remember like being like, "Oh shit!" I was watching it for the first time, but it's fun. I don't remember a whole lot about it. I remember the ending definitely left off where they were trying to expand more with the universe. I don't really know if they had another script for another movie to kind of set up a sequel to this film, because it does at the end of it. It's like Adrian Bro's character and the one girl that's in it. It's kind of like, well, what do we do next? And the camera pans out. Spoiler alert! And there's multiple planets, so they were like on this isolated planet that wasn't Earth. So it does that, and kind of like, oh shit, there's more, creatures out there, and then it just kind of cuts to black after that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if there was a plan to really continue the story with these characters, but I have it on my list. I have it in the C tier, more of like the middle to high C tier, because I remember really liking it. There was elements of it I liked. It does. It's weird because it borrows elements from the first movie with the get to the chopper and things like that. Like, you're not gonna really get out of that situation where they're not gonna mimic something from the first movie. So it does have that, but it's not to the degrading point of, my God, Romulus. Like, here's member berries every single 5 seconds. It's on screen. So it does a better job of appreciating the original film, but not going overboard with the nostalgic bait, essentially. So I would put it. I think that's a good spot for it in the middle C.
Okay. Yeah, a fun fact: the guy who played the samurai in that movie reprises the samurai role in the animated Killer of Killers. Same
Really,
guy. Yeah,
that's cool. Actually,
yeah.
that's really neat. I still would like to have a Predator film where it was in ancient Japan. I think that would be pretty awesome.
Mm.
To kind of have just one set story. Moving on, we have the Predator from 2018. This is Shane Black's version of the Predator, which Shane Black played Hawkins in the original Predator film, the dorky military dude that was with him that Jesse the Body was always ribbing 24/7. He played his character in it, and you think in your head, perfect combination. You got the guy that was in the first movie directing a full feature length Predator film. And to be fair, Shane Black is a pretty good director. He's had his moments. There's movies. He's only ever directed 4 films. So he's directed this movie. No, 4, 5. I take that back. He's directed 5 films. He directed this film. He did a movie called Edge, which I've never seen. He did The Nice Guys with Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling, which I thought was really good. I liked that movie. It
Mm-hmm.
was kind of funny and quirky. He did Iron Man 3, which is a lot better than Iron Man 2. I remember enjoying it pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
And he also did Kiss Kiss Bang Bang with Robert Downey and, oh my God, I'm blanking on his name now. Val Kilmer, which is a really good movie. Probably his best film, to be honest with you, out of the 5 that he's directed. But I was excited about it. I was like, this is kind of a cool take on it to kind of see where he goes with it. This is an interesting cast for sure. You got
Keegan Michael
Boyd,
Key, I see.
yeah, Keegan Michael Key's in it. Jacob Tremblay's in this movie. Boyd Holbrook, Javante Rhodes, Olivia Munn. Sterling K. Browning, he's a great actor. That was an interesting role for him. Thomas Jane, Jack Busey, just really weird. The girl from Westworld, I cannot pronounce her name, and don't even want to try to.
Yvonne.
But yeah, it's Starhovazik, I think's her last name, but she's in it as well, and it basically has like this young boy that accidentally triggers the universe's most lethal hunter, and he returns to Earth, and you have a ragtag of ex-soldiers and scientists that get involved with once again because they want to experience like what is this thing, man, it arrived to Earth and we got to figure out, do some, to try to figure out what it is and try to run tests on it to see what this thing actually is and then what it's doing on Earth. And then of course it goes haywire, and you have all these guys that are banding together to survive, this ex-military crew, and some of them are convicts, and it's a pretty bad movie. I remember going to the theater with it with my friend, and we both got out of it and we're like, it's all right. And it's just one of those weird ones where it kind of turns into like Alien Covenant, where the end of it is like really rushed. And the movie's about 1 hour and 50 minutes, but it's extremely choppy. Like there's elements of it where you're just like, okay, we were just here, now we're at this location. Well, we were just talking about this thing, now we're already at this thing that they're speaking of. So it's kind of all over the place. There's moments where it does, once again, not as bad with Requiem. A lot of it takes place at night, and it has a lot of elements where you can't see anything much at all in it. The acting is so. I don't think any of the actors here are necessarily bad. I mean, Olivia Munn can't really act herself out of a paper bag besides being on Attack of the Show. But everybody else here is just kind of there. They're all right. Boyd Holbrook, I've seen him play in a couple of good things, but it's a film that I never went back or revisited. The CGI is atrocious in some scenes. This is the one where, once again, you have Predator versus Predator where they're fighting on I think it's like a high school football field or something. And it introduces the Predator dogs, which is like Predator dogs, versions of Predators that are turned into dogs. The CGI is really, really bad. And it just takes you out of the film completely. The dialogue is atrocious. There's a lot of dialogue here that's just absolutely horrible. None of the characters I really care about. I mean, it just kind of rushes through things, and there's not a whole lot of really, stakes or matter to the movie. There's not a whole lot going on where you're just like, my gosh, I hope they get out of this situation. Like, you just really don't care. And that was my main problem with the movies. It doesn't give you really any memorable characters like the first two Predator movies do. And to me, on my list, I have it at a high D tier to low C tier.
Okay.
So
I'll be curious because I'd heard really bad things.
Yeah, I had hopes for it because obviously when you hear about a new Alien movie and it's been so long, you're excited about it.
I assume you want to hear.
Let's see. I would put it personally, and this probably going to surprise some people, I'd probably put it below 4 and Covenant because I think 4 is at least watchable.
So you think it's there?
Yeah, I didn't enjoy this one at all.
Okay.
It just wasn't a fan of it. I really wasn't. Moving on, now we have the 2022 Hulu exclusive, Prey, which was a total surprise because I remember them announcing this and seeing the trailers for it. And I was excited about it for the most part. I thought it looked pretty good, and it was one that I'd check out. The director has not a huge, you said the word earlier. I'm already losing it. Filmography. He doesn't have a huge filmography. He's filmed like one episode of The Boys. He did do 2016's 10 Cloverfield Lane, which I did like and thought that was the best Cloverfield movie out of all of them. He's done one episode of Black Mirror. He did Prey, he did Predator Killers of Killers, and he did Predator Badlands. So the dude's definitely dipping his pinky into the Predator universe for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this one came out, like I said, in 2022. It was back to the rated R. This one takes place in the 1800s against, what is it, 1700s?
Yeah.
Yeah, 1700s. This is more of like what would happen if he went up against a Native American tribe of Indians, and which is a cool freaking story to begin with. It's kind of thinking out of the box from the whole typical sci-fi stuff. This one has like a cast that is unknown. Dakota Beavers plays one of the male leads in this movie. Amber Midthunder, who hasn't really been in much at all besides this, and I think she was in one movie this year, and I can't think of the name of it. But she was in Novocaine. Novocaine, which was a fun movie that came out this year. She was also in Legion with Dan Stevens, the FX show. But she plays the lead here, which to me personally, like out of her and like Sigourney Weaver, I think she was like one of the best female roles, especially compared to like Romulus and a couple of others that are in this franchise. She was definitely the standout. Everything I've seen her in, she's done very tremendous in, and just one of those actresses that you're going to see for a long time, and you know a couple of years for sure. She's going to be blowing up. But it's cool. It's a cool storyline. The time setting is cool because it's almost like a Revenant meets the Predator in a way, just with the kind of the Civil War aspects of it. Because there's a scene in here where it's like I don't know if it's like colonial guards or something, where it's like Civil War guards that he ends up attacking, and it's awesome. Like the kills, they don't shy away from anything. This one is extremely brutal.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that I will say is the only scene that's kind of like whatever is the part where he fights a bear on the creek, and it's very much CGI heavy. But other than that, his look is awesome. The skull mask that he wears is really freaking cool. Um, yeah, this one personally, to me, is right there with two as far as being great in the Predator franchise. I would put it in the same category because I don't really have a problem with it. It was a pleasant surprise to me. It surprised the hell out of me. I really didn't have much faith in it. I saw the trailer, I was like, it might be pretty good, but it ended up really exceeding my expectations, and it was cool because it wasn't all over the place, and it wasn't just bombarded like the Predator was or Alien Covenant, where there was just so much going on and people I didn't care about. It was a simple story like the first movie with simple characters that you didn't need a whole lot of backstory. They're Native American, they're Indians, they're trying to fight this thing that shows up. That's all you need to know, and they keep it short and sweet. Uh, it's like an hour and 40 minutes. It's back to the hard R stuff. Cool gadgets that you've never seen in any other Predator movies that they kind of come up with because of the time period and everything. So it's easily, to me personally, it's up there with two, if not better. And that's my thoughts on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you said a lot. I mean, it's beautifully shot. I love when movies can get really natural, like with their setting. And so, obviously, being set in 1700s, being set with a Native American tribe, you get lots of landscape shots. So I love that. And as you mentioned, it's tightly paced. It's really to the point. It doesn't waste a lot of our time. It develops the characters that need development and lets other ones play their role. Um, and all the little traps and things as like a homage to the original one with all the little clever things that she puts together to fight this thing and her determination in doing so. And I personally had it A tier
Okay.
behind Aliens, but I like it more than Predator 2.
I do too. That's where I stand at. I had it on A as well.
Yeah.
I was leaning towards B, but A for me. The more I think about it, because it's a simple. What makes these movies so good with the first one, second one, and this one is it's just such a simple story,
Yeah.
and that's all you need. You just need a very good male or female protagonist and an awesome version of Predator. And that's really all that you need, and it gives it to it. It passes that test with flying colors. So that's my thoughts on it. I'm glad we agree on it because I was really impressed with it, especially after feeling so disappointed with Alien Covenant and the Predator. I was just like, well, where are we going with this? And finally, it was something good. So I'll let you talk about the next one, which is Predator: Hunter of Hunters,
Killer
the
of Killers.
animated Killer of Killers. I don't know why I keep saying Hunter. I keep thinking of Hunter X Hunter for some reason.
Yeah.
But Killer of Killers, which is the animated one that came out this year from the same director that did Prey and the same director that did Badlands, which we will be talking on here in just a minute. But he knocked out of the park with the first one with Prey, and then we'll give our thoughts on Badlands here in just a little bit, but kind of give your thoughts on this one because I didn't check this one out.
Yeah. I'll try to be a little short so we can get to the meat and potatoes later. But it's R-rated, it's animated, it's an anthology film. It kind of serves as a spiritual successor to Prey in a way, and a bridge to the live-action Predator Badlands that came out this year, and this came out this year as well. You still have Dan Trachtenberg, as you mentioned. The film style is nice and stylish, and the animation's really slick. I really enjoyed that part, and the whole premise behind the movie is that you take history's most formidable warriors and put them up against the Yautja, the Predator. It's 80 minutes. It's real tight. There's lots of creative violence in, I would say, the first two of the anthology, and the final act. It connects all of the Predator films, but man, it really falls off for me. I do not like The Bullet is the name of the chapter, and it's set during World War II. I'll talk about the other ones first, though. You have 3 different short stories that converge for a 4th chapter at the end. The first one's The Shield, which is set in the Viking era, and it follows Ursa, who's a Viking warrior matriarch leading her clan on a quest to vengeance. She thinks she's hunting the man who killed her father, and instead they encounter a massive predator, which they mistake for a mythological beast like Grendel. So if you've seen Beowulf, you'll be familiar with Grendel. It's raw, it's brutal, it's visceral. Definitely my favorite. I don't know. The other one's really good too, but very reminiscent to me of kind of like how God of War played. Really nice, dark, snowy, mythological atmosphere, and she kind of reminds me a lot of. I'm blanking on the God of War main character name, but she reminds me a lot of him, and I'm sure Cody can remind me when he comes back. The second one's The Sword. It's set in feudal Japan, so like 1600s, early 1600s. And it follows 2 estranged brothers, Kenji, who's a traditional samurai, and Kiyoshi, who's a ninja, essentially. They're forced to duel by their father, or to succeed their father. And this one's really cool because I think there's no spoken word, if I'm remembering correctly, during the entire chapter. And then obviously a ninja-like predator interrupts their battle at the end of the chapter, and they form an alliance to survive and defeat the predator together. So yeah, the more that I think about it, this is probably the standout segment. I really enjoyed the first one too, just for the God of the War or like essence to it. But this is like samurai versus ninja versus predator. So that's probably in every young kid who knows about predators minds. So it's kind of awesome to see it play out. It's fast, it's elegant, it's bloody. The predator is really unique in this one. I like it a lot. It uses a lot of stealth and bladed weapons to kind of match the feudal Japan setting. Same as in the first chapter, that predator is very large and hulking to kind of match that like brutal mythological atmosphere set. Cody, you can probably help me out here. Kratos, I helped myself out. The first character reminds me a lot of Kratos. And then it all fell apart for me in Chapter 3, The Bullet, which follows Torres, who's a young American pilot on an aircraft carrier. And his entire squadron is wiped out by an invisible ship. And so Torres takes to the sky in a rickety, pieced together plane to dogfight with the Predator. Oh, man, it really sucked, and I only say it sucked because there's just so much you really have to like. If you don't know, I'm an aerospace engineer, so I know a thing or two about aircrafts and science and physics in general. And so you really have to like put all that to the side to be able to enjoy this chapter. Um, the movie wants you to think that if you turn off your engine, that you will immediately not have a thermal signature as an aircraft, and that's not true. And that's how he escapes the predator and the dogfight. And there's also a scene where he's like literally on the wing of a plane in flight at altitude, and he's like trying to fix something on the wing, and the thought that he would be able to move out onto the wing and do something and get back to the cockpit is just silly to me. And I wish they would have just put him as a soldier in World War II on the ground. But man, it it's unique. I'll give it that, but it's terrible. And then finally, it ends. They all get put together because these are all separate stories, separate time pieces. You know, we got 840 AD, 1600 AD, and 1942 AD, and so they all come together on the Arena planet. So it takes all three of them. They're cryo frozen on a Predator transport and then deposited into a massive gladiator like arena on the Predator planet. And they're forced to fight for the amusement of the Yautja crowd, and they have to like overcome their language barriers because Torres only speaks English and Spanish, and the Japanese guy only speaks Japanese, and then the woman only speaks ancient Viking. I don't know what language that might be, but so it's kind of, I don't know. They resolve the barrier quickly, but again, talking about an 80-minute movie, so you kind of just have to let some things slide. It's ambitious, a very divisive part of the movie. I still hated the bullet more, but some people hate this scene more. It kind of connects the film to the game preserve concept that Predators used in the 2010 one, and expands the lore by showing Yautja society. But yeah, it just felt really rushed at the end there. I wish they would have taken their time and done like, instead of doing episodes in 80 minutes, I kind of wish they had 80 minutes dedicated to each character, and they would have not tried to do some BS about aircraft on the third one. It probably would have been a lot better. But it's like that, they call it 2.5D animation style, where it's not quite 3D, but it's not 2D either. But it's very much like Into the Spider-Verse, Arcane, that kind of look. Very popular right now. It's kinetic and kind of looks like it's painted, so it looks really fluid, and the gore and the action scenes, it works really well. It's pretty bloody, so it's very, very rated R, very gruesome. Beheadings, dismemberments, kills, some really good ones. So I kind of didn't like a lot of pieces of it. I'm probably would put it C tier. No, well, I don't know. I guess I'll say it's B tier because certain elements of it I really enjoyed. But it's definitely the back of the B tier for me. Because the others down there in the C are like, no, you know what? I'm gonna put it here.
It's got one of those back and forth type of
Yeah.
type of things. But well, I thought about checking it out, and then I kind of was after a while I was like, I don't know, I might just wait on it and kind of not really based my opinion on reviews, but I just was like, well, I'm not a person that really jumps into animated movies much like I used to, so. Not that I don't appreciate. I'm not saying I don't appreciate them. I love animated movies, but it's just like I really have to be in the mood to watch them. And it looked fascinating with the timeline and everything. I thought, like, man, if they pull this off, that'd be cool. It's definitely a different way of looking at it. And then Dan Trachtenberg's pretty much, the Predator guy now. He's directed 3 Predator films in the span of like 3 years. So two alone this year. So. But moving on, This is the new 2025 Predator Badlands that just came out about a week ago. But this is the newest one, and I've had I had my thoughts about it when the trailer came out, and I was a little concerned. There was elements of it that I was like, this could be really cool and really different, but you got to take into account that this is the 20th Century Fox that Disney has bought, and this is kind of their baby now. This is their company. It's not like 20th Century Fox really has much of a chokehold anymore on films that they want to do because Disney's their shadow. So I can't really speak on what Disney has done recently. I know they've been in a lot of hot water with some of the movies and shows they put out, like just carbon copy crap that they've been doing the last couple of years. So that kind of made me a little nervous about it. I'm not sure if Disney really had the rights to 25th Century Fox when Prey came out because that was 2022. Don't think they did because I remember in 23 or 24, everybody was blowing up about Deadpool, and Disney buying out 20th Century Fox to kind of like, oh no, we're going to get a Disneyfied Deadpool movie, which we didn't, thankfully. Probably the best Deadpool movie came out of it. But anyways, we got this one, Predator Badlands, and the cast overall, it's not a huge cast. Ella Fanning plays Thea in it, which he is an android in this film by the company from Alien that makes her, and she plays two different. Yeah, she plays two different roles in this movie as well. Her and her sister is in it, and we also follow the Dak character, which is the Yanja, the predator in the movie. And when it first starts out, visually, and once again visually, and just the scope of it is done so well because Dan Trachtenberg has such a unique look to things, like Zach mentioned in Prey. Which was absolutely a beautiful film to look at. It took place in Alberta, Canada, is where they filmed that one at, which is just breathtaking. But he has a good eye when it comes to just the scope of things, kind of like Ridley Scott's older movies, where you just kind of get a vision of things and just a whole unique scope to it. But it started off great. I don't know how you felt about it, like the first 10 to 15 minutes, but it started off like really, really good. When you actually go for like the character when you first get introduced to him, and he has a brother, which it's kind of the usual, like, well, you're not worthy enough to be at the this point where you should be. And his dad's like this big, like, badass character in it, which I really want to know more about his backstory because he has some really cool armor in it. He has the really cool sword. He has the cloak, which the son character, the Dak character, is trying to win him over, I guess you could say, in his eyes, try to be the ultimate hunter of hunters, and try to get that, and then show his dad that he's a worthy adversary on someone that he can go hunt alone by himself, and get that I guess that creed of honor that the predators that the Yancha has. But really good. The first 10 to 15 minutes, I was like, I'm sold. Like, it was really, really well done. It was really fascinating. They speak in their native language in this movie, and it's kind of cool how there's like subtitles. It's the most expressive the Predator has been in any of the Predator films by far. Just the motion of their face and their expressions and their feelings, and their mood changes definitely fit for a lot of the movie. I mean, you can definitely feel what the predator is feeling without him even saying a word. And I liked that. I thought it was a little bit different. It kind of gave a little bit more uh, just leadway into his character, and how he looks and his emotions with things, and the situations that he's in. I like that. I thought it was different. I also thought that just they just expanded more for the Yamcha. Like the first film, he's there, and he's just kind of the ultimate badass character that they're trying to end up. They end up fighting against towards the end of it, and you don't really get a whole lot of backstory. you don't get a whole lot of backstory with it. But this one it has a little bit more backstory with his character. It goes further into the brother and father aspect of it, and him trying to find a path on what he wants to do. And he ends up getting his father and his brother have a conflict. He ends up getting shot off in the ship somewhere else to this unknown planet that he's never been to. He's after, you probably remember what it is. He's after some kind of, I don't know if it's like a relic or something he's trying to go after on this distant planet. It's basically his hunt. He's trying
to get the Kalisk skull.
Yeah, Kalisk. That's what it was. Kalisk skull. That's his motivation. So he goes to this planet essentially, and he runs into this android that has no legs, which straight up reminded me of God of War Ragnarok. Like I said in my review, God of War Ragnarok. He meets this character, Thea, played by Ella Fanning, which she is an android by the company that's from the Alien movies.
Weyland-Yutani.
Yeah, Weyland-Yutani. And she goes on this quest with him, essentially, so they can kind of help each other out. And it ends up being like a buddy road trip movie with the Predator. And along the way, there's like this character that's almost like I don't even know what he is. He's almost like a ape or monkey type of character. Very interesting look. But he comes along, he kind of tags along, and that's when it kind of really kind of lost me in a way, because I was like, it definitely feels too much like a tag along Disney film where they kind of add these side characters to it. But I'm about to kill my dog here in a minute, if you guys are wondering. But it kind of turns into like a side quest character where he's trying to find what he's trying to find, the Kalisk, and she's trying to go back to her sister and try to get these memories back that she had, and obviously get her legs back because she can't walk. And it turns into essentially just a walk on foot type of movie that they're trying to both find their way in life. It's almost like the friends we made along the way type of deal. But I was on board for it the first 20 to 30 minutes, and after a while, I just kind of felt exhausted with it. It's not a movie that's annoying. I don't feel like Thea. I've seen a lot of reviews where people thought Thea was a really annoying character, and I don't think that. I think that she's curious for a reason. She's an android. She wants to know and learn more things about the Yamcha and just learn things in general, because she's never really been out of her comfort zone before. So it makes sense. And Ella Fanning does a pretty decent job in this movie. But I feel like it just gets bogged down by the usual, like, we're hunting this creature and how are we going to get out of this situation type of thing. And then the ending comes and there's a lot of member berries. Not enough to just overblow it like Romulus, but that there's a thing that's referenced from Alien 2 that's in this movie, which Zach knows what I'm talking about, not to give anything away for people who hadn't seen it. But there's a thing that kind of references that, full on references it. And it just kind of had a very basic tone to it. I don't think it really stood out like Prey did. It just was one of those films where you kind of predicted along the way. You knew the steps, you knew the treaded water that you've already been through. It's not a film that really branches out. There's cool moments in it. It's also PG-13, I will say. Once again, going back to the PG-13 rating, it's not a hard R like Prey. But it goes back to the PG-13 rating, and its elements of it are cool because you kind of like to have the green blood when they're fighting each other, where the predators are, but there's not a lot of conflict with that. Most of all the other characters are androids. There's not a human character in this movie at all, to my knowledge, but a lot of it's androids. And you just kind of feel tired of it after a while. It's just kind of the same rinse repeat that you've seen before, and I think the ending I kind of have hope for. I don't know what direction they're going to go in, but the ending was, besides the first act and the very last 5 to 10 minutes when he confronts his father again, that was the two best parts of the movie, I thought. and it has interesting concepts to it and interesting ideas because there are cool creatures on this planet. There's things that definitely stand out, like the glass grass. I thought was kind of cool how that was a thing, and um, it has elements of it that I did like. But when you throw all these side characters together, the whole point of the Predator character is he's a hunter and he hunts alone. And I see what they were kind of get with it, with having more of a feelings for the Yamcha, expressing more, which is a cool element of it. And I think the CGI is better than what the trailer presented it. But I just feel like that it really didn't have much going for it. It was just kind of a movie I saw, and I was like, okay, that's it for me. I don't really have much else to say about it. It just kind of happened, and I feel like Prey exceeded it more. I feel like it did a better job. I was definitely intrigued more by the Native American characters in it than I was just the android characters in this movie. And if Dan Trachtenberg does the next one, which I'm sure he will because Disney's just throwing money at the wall at this point, I think they will. Hopefully, he does a better job with the next one and kind of cleans it up a little bit. But for me, Prey is still his magnum opus at the moment. That's his best Predator film. And not to get long winded, but that's just kind of my thoughts on it.
Yeah, it was definitely a bold take on the Predator franchise. I didn't really have any preconceived notions going into it. I just kind of knew that they were doing a Predator film, so I didn't really have any like expectations. It was a little surprising that they went for like the heartfelt sci-fi Star Wars. The modern Star. Well, I guess all Star Wars is really, if you think about it, pretty heartfelt. Yeah, but the Prey was very back to basics horror. This is not that. Shifts genres pretty significantly. Buddy comedy is like a good way to describe it, where the Predator is the main protagonist, and they do try to humanize him a lot, with the facial expressions and have him speak a lot. I do have to give props to Elle Fanning for like the dual performance that she gave. She was really good as both androids, and you had like her as basically Thea, where she's like humorous, and then the antagonist Tessa, she's cold, she's calculating, she's a threat, she's strong. I didn't really. I guess I'd kind of forgotten that androids are that much stronger than humans, but I think that's a common thing that's always been the case in all of the Alien films. Um, it's also visually stunning, I would say, and he does a really good job with that. Um, the main awesome part was how much, like you said, how much it expanded the Predator lore massively. I mean, we get more explanation and background and history about the Yautja than ever before. We've been kind of teased stuff before, but this is really the first real hardcore um, explanation of things. It's almost kind of like we, the audience, were Tessa, or not Tessa, Thea. We were all like really curious about the Yautja culture, and she almost acts as sort of like a microphone or a amplifier to like a lot of the maybe fan questions they had about the Yautja creatures. Centers on Deck, who's the name Predator there, played by Demetrius Schuster Kaloamatangi. I think that's how you pronounce it.
It just rolls off the tongue.
Yeah. He's like the runt. He's outcast by his clan, and he's like desperate to prove he's this ruthless warrior, and he avenges brother's death, and he basically goes to find this unkillable apex predator that not even his father would hunt, the Kalisk, on this lethal planet of Jenna or whatever. So basically everything there is like designed to kill you or will kill you. And yeah, he meets the Weyland-Yutani android, and they form a team because she's a tool, and that's the reason why he's able to, like, in his head, get around the fact that he's supposed to hunt alone because she's just a tool and not anything else. And they get that buddy cop dynamic sort of thing going, where one's stoic and quiet, and and hardcore, and the other one's more talkative and optimistic. It's, you know, it's like a sci-fi version of Jackie Chan and what's his face?
Chris Tucker.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's, you know, it's the Unlikely Alliance, and they got to learn to cooperate just like they had to in Rush Hour. So
Not as funny.
no, it's not funny. It's definitely not a horror film. It's not an action, not a pure action movie. At least there are really good action scenes. It's more of a sci-fi adventure buddy, cop buddy journey thing. Which, you know, like I said, I didn't have any preconceived notions going into it, so the fact that it went that direction was unexpected. But I didn't like count against it, because I really personally don't know how much fun a movie about a stoic, silent predator hunting alone on a foreign planet by himself with no one to speak to would be interesting. So I really don't know how you would have, because I think what people wanted was like this hardcore, like badass, like journey film. I guess kind of like, maybe, I don't know, like Gladiator or something. But they don't speak English and they hunt alone, and there's no humans on this planet, and we're humans. So I just don't think a story of him hunting alone on a planet for a beast would have been interesting. So I will give it that credit. So I know a lot of people have just complained about that. I've heard that, but I don't think you understand what you're asking for here. It would not be fun to watch. I don't care what you think; it would not be fun to watch.
Which, looking back on it too, from my perspective of it, I know in the short review that I did on my other channel, I said like it would have been cool if we got a hardcore Predator movie again, but like just hearing your thoughts on it and everything, I kind of feel the same way the more I think about it. Like, but my mindset was it would be cool if we still had human characters, not just like a straight up like subtitled Predator film of him just hunting around, Predator Simulation, the movie, you know.
You would definitely have to have human characters for the audience to be able to relate to, and, you know, so it could have been done, but no matter what, you weren't just getting a solo Predator film. Like, they had to sort of been the expectations a little bit. And obviously, I fully believe that probably Disney exerted their influence on the production, and you ended up with basically a Mandalorian reskin. I'm not going to sit here and completely defend the film. It is very much has that kind of vibe to it, where Mando's the silent, stoic warrior, and Baby Yoda is now a legless android, you know, or one of the other many side characters in that series. And I generally like Mandalorian. It's another thing that's like, again, it's a way to explore the Star Wars world and learn a lot about Star Wars, the people, the races, the history. And it's neat that you get to get taken on that journey. And yeah, it's a little comedic, and it's a little silly, and it's family friendly, and it's very Disney, but, you know, I take my lumps, basically. This is probably the first one where you really, you know, outside of AVP, which kind of seemed like a little bit more like that era forced, you know, combination of movies. This one, I think, more holistically combines the two franchises for like the first time, and like threads it well. It's packed with tons of lore, so that helps. You know, we get Yautja Prime, the internal clan politics, a little bit of look at their culture. I do hope he does get a sequel and we get to see more of that. But just be prepared that he's going to have his pet monkey dog and his android who's curious. You know, he's going to have he's Luke Skywalker with his C-3PO and his R2-D2, you know.
Yeah.
They're gonna still be characters in the film, so it's still gonna have that like comedic element to it, and it's not just gonna be hardcore badass warrior culture. It'll just have pieces of that in it. So I thought it was fun, all the little things that they did for Jenna, like with the needle plants, and then the razor grass, and then They had the little lizard that just wants like food and shoots acid. And that's another cheesy thing. It's like, oh, he just gives it food one time, and now it's his little fake shoulder cannon, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's lots of little cutesy elements in it that are kind of like, oh, come on. But like I said, I take my lumps with it, and I didn't have expectations for anything, so it kind of helped. Uh,
Did the slow mo bother you at all
oh
in it?
yeah, you mentioned that. Yeah, the slow mo, and then like always like the timely saves, like
Mhm.
how many times was a character on their back getting ready to meet their end, and then somebody just happened to step in? I think it had to have happened at least 3 to 4 times in that movie, which was
It
a little.
had the me
Oh,
and you have always called it this too since we saw the movie. It had the Transformers Dark of the Moon, where it's like, oh no, Bumblebee's gonna get killed, and it's like somebody saves him. It's like
yeah,
happens like 3 or 4 times.
yeah,
You're just like, my God, man, like it's a little overboard after a while.
yeah.
But I will say, I am optimistic about the ending, and I am excited if he ends up getting another film to make that is a Predator movie.
Hmm.
I am excited to see which direction he does go in, because it does leave off where you're like, oh shit, like,
Yeah,
we're going to get maybe some more Yancha on Yancha
yeah.
battles. So I am excited about that. I am anticipating it to see what direction he goes in next.
Yeah, and he did a smart thing. He set it really far into the future. It's the most futuristic film in both franchises, actually. So he gets to avoid any like timeline conflicts.
Yeah, yeah. It has nothing to do like with canon. He's just kind of
Yeah, well, it
he gets
doesn't
the
mess
free
with canon.
will.
It's part of the canon. It just doesn't mess with the previous canon.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
He has free will to do whatever direction he wants to
exactly.
do.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's the
because it looked
exciting
like
thing.
in this future there's like tons of androids, and they just send androids to planets to go basically be an unkillable army to capture specimens, and that's what Weyland Yutani is trying to capture, this unkillable beast to like do studies and capture it, and probably try to figure out how to put that in humans, because that's their whole mission, is to make humans perfect, and we know that doesn't work. And so yeah, look, some people are going to say it's one of the best movies of the year, some people are going to hate it, and it all comes down to what your expectations were. If you didn't have any and you're okay with the lighter PG-13 Star Wars reskin with comedy elements, you probably will enjoy it. If you went into it looking for hard R, brutal warrior culture, 300, balls to the wall, testosterone maxed, you know, brutal killer thing, then yeah, you're not going to like it. You're going to be upset.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's definitely divided from what I've seen.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of glowing positive reviews about it, and which is like every movie. I mean, you're not going to get a perfect score, but yeah, I mean, the best positive I can give it, besides just the Predators being more expressive and just the scope of the film and the look of it, is the ending. I have hope that the next one will be really entertaining, and I hope it is, and I hope that they have a different direction with it, and possibly maybe in the future, we possibly could see a xenomorph Predator clash again. I mean, it's been a long time, been almost 20 years.
Yep.
So maybe we'll get that with them, introducing the facility that creates the androids. I mean, that's kind of a dead giveaway almost. Like, okay, when are they going to pop up? So even
Mm-hmm.
though it's in the future, it would be cool to have a futuristic xenomorph versus a futuristic predator. So
Yeah.
I would like to see that. But anyways, I had it on mine. It was around like a low B, somewhere around there. C, low, high C, low B for me.
Yeah. I had it at the top of my B tier. So, but if you wanted to put it above or below Prometheus, I'm sure you prefer Predator 2.
I
But I
do
think you're,
personally,
yeah.
just because I love just the '90s aesthetic of
Yeah.
two and just the characters in it more.
So just a matter of where you prefer it compared to, say, Prometheus. Like,
I put it in the middle. I think,
yeah.
and thinking about it more too on C, not trying to change what we were talking about,
Yeah.
but I think Predators is above Romulus. Thinking about it more
Okay.
personally, because I just think that it's a funner film, and
I would probably. I haven't seen it. I want to probably tell you that it's probably better than Killer of Killers.
Okay, yeah.
In
It's
fact, I would probably even say this is better than Killer of Killers. But
which one?
Romulus.
Oh, Romulus. Yeah, probably so. So more than
Now,
likely.
is it better? It might be as good as AVP, but I don't know. Maybe I'll put it in the back. I don't know.
So, but
this might be the final order here. The nice stair step thing we got going here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 2.
yeah, no, it's yeah. A and the S tier was really tough for me. Like Alien is top tier for me. Out of all of them, Predator and Aliens, it is the best one. But those other three are tough. Like Predator, Aliens, and Prey. That's a tough one for me. It could go either way, but I think I'm happy with it. I think we did a good placement for all of them, and I mean that's our opinion on it. If you guys are listening, to almost 2.5 hours, so that's it though, guys. That's our thoughts and on the Predator franchise, on the Alien franchise. If you like this video, please subscribe and comment. Listen to us on Spotify. I'll probably be uploading these on there as well to the Flick Talk podcast. And yeah, let us know in the comments what you guys want us to talk about next. Zach actually has the outro because I don't. I always forget to write it down, and we're still working on. We're progressing through this the best we can. So, and I'm knocking my microphone over, so we're about to have technical difficulties as well. So, but yeah, that's it. Let us know in the comments down below what you guys thought of this video. What do you have any topics you'd like to talk about on next week's episode? Because I know we kind of throw it at the wall and see what sticks. So we can do another tier list. We can talk about some other movies, a director, just whatever. Really, we're all new to this whole thing, and this is kind of our start to it all. So we mainly talk about movies here, and that's what we're trying to stick to for the most part. So maybe branching out at some point with music as well.
Yeah.
But that's it, guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. We should have this video up. I know episode 1 isn't out yet, but I will get it uploaded as well. And we'll kind of have a 1-2 punch where you guys can listen to them, maybe back to back even. The first one is a little rough, I will say. We were kind of all over the place with that one. But we were giving our thoughts on our us meeting and our friendship and everything, and just kind of getting the ball rolling. And this one from here on out is going to be further into the movies that we love and the movies that we dislike. So I think that's about it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed listening and watching. I am Dakota. This is the Flick Talk podcast.
Hey guys, and until then, stay entertained and take it easy.
And don't forget to get your liquor any way you can. See you guys later.
See ya.